This is the Ktm65 2012sx rebuild video. We're going to put the crank bearings in the freezer just for an hour. So we'll come back in an hour. Put the crank there with a new rod in. I'm going to bang them main bearings out. All of the parts here. I'm going to get all them in. Bang that crank bearing out of there. So we'll come back in an hour and we'll start. So we'll just bang this. Take that seal out. We'll bang that main bearing out. And we're going to bang that main bearing out. Take that seal out as well. And this is what I use to get crank seals out. All the seals were hard to get to. It's the puller for the exhaust and motocross bikes. That's that one popped out. Bang that bearing out soon. I'm just going to pop this seal out now. So that's the main bearings out. Just clean in there, make sure it's all alright. There's the old main bearings as well. So we've still got half an hour to go till them bearings in the freezer cool down, and we'll heat the cases up with a blowtorch, and heating this up expands that. And if the bearings being in the freezer they shrink, so you can tap them into there easy. So we'll just wait for the bearings to freeze up a bit more. So the bearings have been in the freezer an hour. I'm just going to heat this up now. Heat this one as well. Get these crank bearings in. That's the two dual mains in. That's that one. That's that one. And we'll just put this crank seal in before I pull the crank through. It's the bigger one of the two. Just goes in there. So we'll push that in. Lube around the inside of there. Oil as well. So that's the crank seal in, all lubed up. I've lubed inside the main bearing as well. Putting the crank in from that side. You take this nut off. O-ring and a washer. That's a good rough tape goes in there as well. It's over there on the bench. But we'll lube that round there as well. Just give it a wipe down before we put it in. It's got a bit of grease around there and that. That's the crank as far as that just slides in, which is good. So we'll have to get the crank puller on it. I'm checking these closely. See on that one. It's all there up above my thumb, it's all dented and chewed. All around the bottom of it. So if this shaft what lines up with it. See already, there look. That lines up with that one what's broke. There you can see a bit better with the torch off. But that cog's broke anyway. Nice little cog. See better on the torch on this one. I'll do the water pump seal while waiting for the other bits. Really to take off there. Just took the two other bolts off when I took this big casing off. There's the water pump with the gasket, the other one. I'll be putting a new one of them in. There's the impeller. Always check these cogs if any snapped off. That looks alright. So we'll get the shaft out now. So just pull this back black part off. Just comes off. Be a nut underneath here. Looks like a 12. So got that 12 on there. That little 6 million there. Loctite. We'll put some Loctite on that and we'll put that in. Now pull the impeller off. That's the shaft off. Just push through. That's your water pump shaft. So we'll get the seal out and put the new one in. That's the old seal out. There's the new one. that way. Like that. There it is on the other side. Just clean in there. Let's see if I can push it in by hand. That's it in. That's how it's sitting. So we'll lube in there and get the shaft back on. So that's the shaft lubed. Inside the bearings lubed. Inside that bearings lubed. Now we'll get the impeller on. We want to go on one way. You can see the flat edges on there. The flat edges on there. Just lines up. Slide over. And we'll get some Loctite on that little nut. Get that on. So we'll Loctite that. Don't over tighten it, you can feel it when it gets tight. Plus it's got Loctite in, so it won't need torque up. Now we can get the back part back on. Just that nut bit slides over that. Just pushes on. So that's the water pump seal done. Now we'll get the gasket. Find the other one, up the pack and put that one in. So there's the new one, there's the other one. Just put that on. That's the new water pump case and seal on. So just going to put that on now. Get that safe as it works. Just take that on gently. But that's the water pump done anyway. So now that the water pump seal's in, we're done on this casing. I've just wrapped it back up. Got the casing when I've pulled the crank through. That's wrapped up as well. It's going to be a couple of weeks for these two cogs. I'll show them in a minute. I'll just put these. These are the two cogs. I'll not go into much detail because I've already talked a lot about them at the beginning of the video. But that one and that one are going to be back ordered, so they're going to maybe take 2-3 weeks. So I've just wrapped everything up, and that's why I'm just going to post this video instead of waiting for a while till the bits come, like 3 weeks maybe for these two cogs. But these are the selector forks, and to me they look like they've got wear. You can see here. And if it focuses in, you can see a lip. It's not a very big lip, but it's still a lip. So it's been grinding. Like that side smooth, they should always be like that. That side smooth as well. And we'll have a look at this one. That one's got a tiny lip there. It's got wear there. Top one isn't ground, but the black paint's coming off. On that side, there's no lip. At the top, there's a little lip there. There. We'll put this one on the left, on the right side. That's been grinding and rubbing. Top looks smooth. See the lip on the bottom one there. And then on those, there's no grind marks on them. It's all smooth, bit of the black paint's coming off. Nice. It's got a tiny groove there where it started away. There's the 3 little pins. When you need to select the drum, they just pop out. Just make sure you don't lose them. So I would personally be changing them. Anyway, the decking tools come as well, which I'll show in a later video what it's for. Just a quick little thing now. Just quickly get that head gasket out of there. It goes on that way. You can see the dome on your piston goes on that way to set the height. If when your piston is top dead center, if that decking tool moves up, it means you need a thinner base gasket or a thicker base gasket. But that's what that part's measuring for. And then when you turn it round, you can see there on the bottom of it, it's the shape of the dome of the piston. You put that in there, and when it's flat with the top of the barrel, when your piston comes up to there, that's when you set the notch on the stator, on the flywheel. But we'll be doing that in another video. Like I say, it's going to be a couple of weeks for these two cogs coming. Here's the piston. It fits over it like that. And you set the timing, fits over it like that. Anyway, like I said just before, that'll be it for this video, because it's going to be 3 weeks for these coming. Like, I should have noticed them when they're in the engine when I stripped it on the teardown video, but it was going through the gears in the yard when I was pushing the neutral and knocked it into second. It was a lot on, but I went up all the gears and it was working. And when I turned the gears and the thingies, the shafts in the engine, they were all spinning alright. Like I say, I only noticed them when I put the crank into the case and then went to put the gearbox in. I should have noticed earlier, but you couldn't really see, to be honest. I should have checked them. But don't worry, we'll get that done.